husband, Kevin, and I, our journey really started here at the Vineyard about 12 years ago. Through a guest speaker, we decided through that kind of guest speaking and just launching the need for foster parents, we just felt this divine intervention to honor that and pursue it. So we fostered Chelsea. That was over 10 years ago. And she was a product of neglect and abuse the first 2 years of her life. But we've just spent the past 10 years really thrust into a very unforgiving system, really a non-existent mental health system for children and for families. When you have a child who is living in that level of trauma, what comes with it is significant behaviors and also the need for treatment. And not being able to access true treatment in Idaho put our family in a state of crisis that nearly demolished our marriage and our other kids. Through crisis, significant crisis, we had to place Chelsea outside of our home. Found out within about 6 months that the kids were being sexually abused by the caregivers at that facility, and my daughter being one of the victims. And so recognizing that this is in fact a massive issue in the United States and even here in Idaho in our backyard. Solace House is the safe house that we're pursuing and will be designed for minor girls between the ages of 11 until they age out at 18. And it didn't dawn on me until we started moving towards Solace House, really getting these doors open and working on our policies. If we didn't experience all of these things within the past 10 years, and truly looking in the eyes of this little broken girl and navigating the system with her and alongside her, then there's no way that Solace House would be successful.
We are an agency that specializes in housing, clothing, food, shelter, and job training for girls right now, but maybe boys and later, that age out of foster care.
What aging out means is with the state, most foster kids, when they turn 18, the state considers them adults. So they're on their own.
I ended up getting a call from Health and Welfare, and they had a young girl that was in Idaho Falls, and they were telling me that they wanted to move her here to Boise. She was aging out of foster care, and they did not have anywhere to place her. And that's kind of how we found out that there was a need, because I asked them, well, what would have happened if you didn't find me for her to move into when she was 18? And they was like, we don't know. She probably would have ended up being homeless or had to go in the shelter. The more we started digging, we found out it was even more of a need through this whole state of Idaho and actually most of the United States.
So we had no clue what happens to the people after foster care. And so that's a population that's falling through the cracks.
They end up being in shelters. They end up getting into sex trafficking, prostitution, drugs, you name it.
So this is a big problem. So we really felt like God is calling us to, when you see a problem, you come up with a solution.
So about 1 in 8 child within the foster care system or who are homeless are at risk or already victims of sex trafficking.
Right.
And we as a society, we can't think that we're exempt or somehow don't have the responsibility to care for these children.
We have to step
every
up
single
as a community.
child.
Like you said, it can't be just us.
And so Solace House is actually designed to be, first and foremost, a place of healing.
Right.
To just let and allow for rest.
Right.
Without any expectations. Being able to truly see in their eyes and see that level of brokenness. And work through rehabilitation and skill building, work through transition, work through education, setting them up if they're not ready to leave Solace House, but they're exiting the program. We have to have a transition plan in place.
I noticed one thing that you touched on is when they have this series of abuse from one home to the next home to the next home, they have a problem with trust. So when you do get them and you want to love on them, it's hard. They resist. They don't want to get attached to you because they think they're going to have to move again.
Right.
That's what we want to do with Judith's house
Right.
too, and your house, I'm quite sure. We want to make sure that they feel safe and secure, that we're not going to move you again.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to stay here. We're going to put you through this program, and when we graduate you, you're going to be a thriving, healthy adult that can go out and move on your own and be able to take care of yourself and be a wonderful citizen to this community.
Right. My big effort is really to challenge the community
Right.
to jump on board
And
to
partner
do
along
what
with
you
us.
can do
Yeah,
best.
yeah.
And
The
that
more
is-
people involved, the more we can see things
Right.
happen,
Right.
change.
Yes.